pistons. I got number 4 in. I dropped in. This is just a dry fit. So, you know, as hard as they come out, I'm going to see that. Yeah, they go in nice. They go flush. And if the O-rings were on, I could just leave them. But they're not on, and I'm not going to. I know what I went through to get them out of here, so I'm just trying them without the O-rings. I've numbered them. And I'm just making sure they go in without anything giving me problems. Just a big empty inside. I won't have to look at that no more. I had to vacuum all that dust out that was stacked up about an inch high across the whole bottom. And they're these high dome from yesterday's tractors. I don't even know why I would say their name, but that's where I ordered them. And they're labeled 113. I guess it's going to be with this high dome. I think they're going to make my engine into a 123 Super C, according to what people told me on the internet. Okay, what do I got? Number 2. See how they're already inside there? I didn't put them in there. And that one's saying front. So, and it also says 113. So I might as well point it to the way it says front and drop it in, even though it's a dry run. Whew. It's certainly different than taking them out. Wow. Maybe all that hard stuff's behind me. Number 1. Come on, don't catch. There it goes. So, now I need a straight edge so I can see how decent they're level with their south, and if there's any gap between the block. I'm going to put it on plow so I find a straight edge. Well, I found a couple straight edges. I cut this one off from the hardware store. It was, what is it, 3 feet? Yeah, it was 3 feet. But I cut it off to use on a guitar neck. So this one's obviously too long. And then the other piece that's left, yeah, I guess we can use that. Okay, great. I have to bring this one back and then find the feeler gauge. All the way back to the basement. No luck yet finding a feeler gauge. I got a drawer where I got a torch tip cleaner, Allen wrenches, and usually that's where the feeler gauges would be, but I've taken them all out. And I thought I had them down with my guitar supplies, so when I put this on the neck, I could actually use a feeler gauge to measure up to see how high the strings are. So I'm going to go back down there and look again, this time bringing a flashlight. What do I find? More Allen wrenches. If I had as many feeler gauges as I do Allen wrenches, I would already have this done. Bingo. Then they have to be a set that's recent where they're not rusty, and that's what these are. Okay, I'm gonna find the 3 to 7 thousandths measurement here. I'll be right there. Okay, here's the 7 thousandths. Here's the 3 thousandths, and the 4, 5, and 6 in between. So probably gonna use the lesser of them and the thickest of them, and see what I got here. So oh, good, we're doing good because the thickest don't go in anywhere. So let's go down to about 5,000. That's about 4,000 there, 5,000. I guess I got it in there a little bit. 5,000. 5,000 all day. And between the head and the thing, and not just doing them together. Now I'll put it sideways here. Nope. It's catching on 5,000, so if I put 6, it might be 6,000, but it's between 3 and 7,000, so. I'll go back up to 1. Well, that's 7. I'll just go up to 7 to make sure it doesn't go in there. And even if it did, as long as it was tight. No, it doesn't go. Doesn't go. Doesn't go. Get some from the other side. Doesn't go under it. So we're under 7. Get it just as flush. It's snark. So it's right at the limit there. I guess it'd be 6 or 5 there. 6 or 5 there. Okay, so we're good. We're 5,000ths in a lot of places, and only one place was at about 7,000, and the rest they're good. So I'm going to put the O-rings on and put them back on. Now to get them back out. Is it going to be that easy? Yep. Number 1. Number 2. I did put a couple marks on it. Number 3. Number 4. I'm just putting them back. In the boxes they came in. I opened them and cut the plastic bag off of them and took the directions out. The directions was mostly about running it for a couple minutes idling, and then running it for a few minutes under a load, and then at 50% of a load, and then 100% of a load, and stuff like that. And then said, when you first get it going, don't let it idle for over 5 minutes. So put them back in there to keep them clean. Then I'm gonna get these O-rings, get them on there. I still gotta cut the bags. I got them, all 4 bags sitting there. I gotta get them and cut them. And I got my Dawn soap. And I don't know if I'll do it like I do tires, where I just put some right out of the bottle of my finger, but I'm going to keep it pretty concentrated, 50% at the most, and a little bit, mix very little up in the bottom of something I can reach my finger in. Okay, so I got a tiny little bit of water in there, and bubble. So mix it up a little. Oh yeah, that's plenty concentrated. So now I got to keep this from getting tipped over. Put her on the gas tank, I guess. Looks like they're in baggies. Pop them all open, and I spill some soap on there already. And I wait it up later. 1. Come on. Let's put them all in that number. Looks like it's got a number on it. KR113. I get these in, and I gotta put the rods and wrist pins on. So I guess I won't be using the soap for a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna put on one of these gloves again. My hand comes out greasy from something. Pretty much made up the soap just for getting the sleeve past the O-ring. Okay, so I put it down in there, and it's easy to guide one side, and then I suppose I could put my hand in the next hole and try to not get it to come out and just be doubled up. Oh, wow. That one ain't easy. And it's not doubled up like they would be when they're the wrong size. So, go for number 1. Start on number 2, I guess. I guess I'll just do it by feel. Feels like I'm halfway around. At least you can get your hand in there, because my hands aren't that small and I can get it in there. Okay. Okay, that one popped in there nice. Okay. Two as I can see, so I don't have to do it all in the dark. Oh, want to come out again. Okay, to get it so you got 3/4 of it overlap, in the groove. Then you look at it and you got that last little bit to go. You grab it right in the center of that last little bit. And when they hand it on, it's in there. Okay. Last one. So do it the same. Get part of it to stick in there. Didn't drop any down in the crankshaft yet, and then on the ground, where it'd be the first time it would have entered dirt, but not done yet. Okay, half of it's in. I'm going to go around the other side. It's only halfway in the groove, so it can still come back out. 5/8, 3/4, all the way. Okay, well I took a wire brush to the top of the head, and geez, I didn't put my straight edge on the head. Well, I can do that later. I only did it to make sure that there was not that big a gap between the top of the sleeves, but I can still do that later. So what I did to make sure I didn't have any trouble putting these, I'll put it on pause and I'll get what I used. Might as well show you. The story is I did the forms in my house 8 inches apart, and I bought a 1/4 inch threaded rod from Farmall. I'm sure these pieces were about 14 inches long or something, because you got to go through a 2x4 that's on the side, then you call them a whaler. So that's 3.5 on each side, so 7, and then you got an 8-inch wall, so it's 15. So I think these were plenty long. So I got a few rods that I never used stacked up somewhere, so I got some of that, cut it off, found one of these wire wheels, and then I welded it right here with the stick welder. Even though I got this little wire feed, I still seem to grab the stick welder. And I put it in a piece of angle iron and held this down with a vice grip, and came out exactly straight. I didn't even notice it wobble when I was doing it. So I went down in there where those O-rings were going in to make sure any sharp things that, I don't know, the amount of rust I vacuumed off the bottom there just made me eerie. So I was just leery about, I don't want to put these pistons in and have them be held up by rust. So I ran these around in each one, pushing on the edge of this with a leather glove that I didn't want, and I put in an old pair so I could push on it where it could wear a hole in your glove, and who cares? Was not my favorite pair. And then I even did the tops of these a little, and ran a putty knife around in them, and pretty sure I got everything out, and I got the O-rings down in there now. So now I got to get these connecting rods hooked to the new pistons. What I'll do is I'll push each piston down to where the wrist pin is sticking out, and then put them on. And I got these holes here, right here. Let me look to see where the lifters are, tappets, or whatever you call them. Yeah, that's a water hole. These are the hole for rods. That's a hole for rods. So I'd probably say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rods, maybe. That would make sense. So two go in here, two go in here, and these single holes are for the other ones. And as far as I know, none of them are rusted out. So I might put some lubricant down in there, some oil, before I put the rods in when I got the head on. But I got to get these wrist pins switched. Hopefully they're not stuck or anything. Pause. When I was making the puller, I got this real nice thick piece of metal. Definitely at least a half inch. I'm going to measure it once, see what it is. Yeah, it's 1/16 less than a half. It's 7/16. But I didn't know what I was doing when I was making a puller, so I should have, I don't know, it didn't have to be this wide, and it has to reach across the pistons for where I got the wood on each side. Let me go put this on there to see why I couldn't use this, but I abandoned it. Turned out that it did reach across. It could have been another inch longer on each side to overlap a little, or at least cover all my 2x4 that's going on this side and this side. But it did reach enough, so it would have hit about half the 2x4. But I was not wanting to double nut, where you double nut these two nuts together on these head bolts. Then you can take out the stud. I didn't want to take all the studs out, and unless I took all the studs out, I couldn't use this, so I guess I abandoned it for a skinnier piece, making the sleeve puller. The thing I was getting at, I drilled this hole in there, and I'm not used to drilling holes that's about a 7/8 hole for my 3/4 rod. I don't know, maybe I just didn't have that thing sharp enough, but the smaller ones went through. I had them sharper. I didn't want to try sharpening. I can sharpen drill bits okay, but I didn't want to try sharpening that big, huge 7/8 drill bit. I think that's why I took so long to drill it, even using cutting oil. A box of the old pistons. I guess I might as well use the one that says number 4. Since I marked this, number 4, number 1, no, number 2, no, of course, it's going to be the last one, yeah, number 4. So, I suppose I don't need any real clean piston. And sleeve. So I'll just bring the box out here. It got windy out here, so I put them in there. I'll put the thing inside there, it'll weight it down. So I went and found these. It's a long time in between when I use snap ring pliers. I used them on the cam of semis, the kind that came out and then turned the corner. They came out, the little tip came out, and then it would turn the corner and go that way. But I suppose you could have used these, but as usual. So, I'm not going to be using the snap ring pliers. It looks like it's going to be needle house. Pause, I'll go find needle nose. Cannot afford to have one of these go flying. So I'll move this box of pistons out of the way. And, so after I pull it out, where could I put them? Right in the center of my glove. I can cover this up with my glove and I take it out. Yeah, that's working. Right in the center of my glove. Flip it over, get the other one. Did I lose it? I I had the glove over it. Obviously not good enough. Now I'm stuck because I'm not going to have an extra. Well, the wrist pin, that snap ring that went flying. Who knows, I might be able to get one of these at the auto parts store. So, we'll keep stealing one out of everyone until we get to the end. I got an extension that's broke off. Looks like it'd be the right size, but the chances of this pin coming right out are pretty slim. Oh, it's coming out. Huh. Who would have thought something would go decent? Okay. So, they say the number goes to the cam side. U4. It's a number on both sides. U4. U4. Well, I would say the rod maybe don't matter then. Or it wouldn't have one on both sides. U4. I merely put the cap on backwards. What's going to matter is that this piston points to the front like it says. So that's what does matter, I think. So let's push this out. I better watch it and have that drop all my stuff. Oh, guess what we got? Snap rings. And new wrist pins. Okay, good. Don't have to worry about that other one then. I can just keep putting these back in the box. But I can't lose those. I have to perfect this a little better. I can't peek while I'm covering it with my glove. There it is. I guess I can still drop it on the ground. Okay, and well, right, so I should only have to take one of them out. Like that. Wipe it off a little. I got it out. See how that fits in. Real nice. This wasn't really wore out on it, it was just stuck. So I suppose I could put a little oil on it. Okay, back out. at the edge, I suppose. Again, the rods just look the same from each side. Oh, this one doesn't get a mark on each side.
That's because I got the cap on the right direction.
This one doesn't either.
That's because I have that cap on the right direction.
This one doesn't either. So they're all going to go to the cam side. But the rod, I could identify this rod from using the other ones. It says 3926, two little bitty zeros, and this side it just says V2. So I pick up one of these. Let me see where I got this right now. It's going to go towards the front. So this is going to be the cam side, because if this is towards the front, the cam's on the right side of the tractor if you're driving it. So I've got the 3000 number up. Let's see how it is on this one. One I put on the cam side, and there's the number on the cam side, so I did mark them right. So, and if you put it on the cam side and then just lower it down and read the rod, it says 3000 or 309 or 30,926. So put this in on the front side, flip it down. We got 30,926. Okay, so I got it the same as the other ones. So I can continue putting this on. Gonna go any further, I guess. So, because I don't need these blocks anymore. My new snapper. Okay, I guess that's the way to do it. Put your thumb over it instead of your glove. Okay, work this off. Somehow I touched that dirty piston. Oh, that's dirty, but it's the outside of the thing. It's going to go in by the annexers. So let's say I got one. Okay, put that in the box. Now I can probably tip over the box, but I'm going to bring this back in and set it where it leans against something. Okay, see if I can do this a little quicker now that I know what I'm doing. See, I wrote where I put the number, I put cam side. So, cam side, and then when I flip it up, it says 30,926. But anyway, I'm going to put my thumb here this time. Yeah, I can see that putting my thumb there maybe doesn't let it come out. had it up. I see. If I get it up, I can get a screwdriver. Yeah. I'll take the other one. Do it without losing it. When you get it right near the end where it'll come up, that's when it flips back every time. So I'm going to get a screwdriver that I stick in there so I don't have to. So as soon as I get it over the edge, like that, I can put that in there. Maybe pull it. Oh yeah, it works great. Then take my broke off extension. Black system, pound it out. No, that one didn't come out. It was easy, but it's coming. Not any problem. So my 2x4 is on behind me. Well, and since I don't got to use this again, it can just stay like that. Pound it down. So that punch I'm not going to be using. That one I am, and I want the dirt. Rag I won't be using. Okay, so let's get this off without losing it. Again, my screwdriver technique. First try. Got it without it. Okay, so front. Like that. Need the 3000 number, we already know. And we should have a stamp on this side. Yes. Put some oil on this. Check to make sure I got the 3000. Front. 3000. And the number facing the cam. I like it. Let's put the stop ring on. Two are set. Okay. Back in the box. Two more left. Okay, we got number 2. I had it the first time, so I could have put the screwdriver in there, but it wasn't in my hand. There it is again. There it is. Now I can just cover it the whole. Oh, gotta go back. So whatever I've learned, I went backwards and forgot. Okay, I got the screwdriver under there, but I can still slip back in. That's it. It did slip out. This is the best time. The sun's coming down. You know, it's late afternoon. I'm getting the best sunlight to do this. Wow, I just used a screwdriver and pulled it right out. But that would just bend it, I guess. I got away, but I didn't lose it. How do I do that? Screwdriver under it. There it is, it's up. Now I get the pliers on it. Wow, I got a new way, but it looks like the lock could go flying doing it that way. Okay, my broke off extension applies. Start putting those back in there because There's no rod's going to take up any room. Okay, clean this out. Okay. Number 2. For some reason these new ones are easier than the older ones. Plenty of oil on there already. So, front. That way. Down. I wish I had took out the other one. Now I just got to flip it over backwards. So, front that way. Well, to 3,000, there's the mark. So it'd go this way. And I flip it over. Put some oil on here. Of course, there's a lot already on there from when I took it out. I oiled these things up pretty good. They come out of the package. Make sure it's going to be right. Over front. Flip it over. There's the 3,000. There's the lettering by the can. Okay. Back over. Snap ring. She's in. Front. Letters by the can. 30,926. One left. That's what it says in the front. Reliance 7374338 cylinder kit. Factory pre-assembled cylinder kits. Okay, I haven't tipped over my oil. Full quart, so I hope I don't do that. One left. And it says 1. Do that with the screwdriver. That brings it right out. Then what do you do with it so it don't slip back down? You stab yourself. Oh. Huh. Must be rusty or something. did these tonight. I just knew that sunlight would be out here, so it's dark in my garage. I use flashlight. I don't know why I don't have an old-fashioned trouble light or a shop light above there. The reason I don't have a shop light is because you open the overhead door and that would cancel any shop light. But then I could have a portable one. That would be on a, that'd be an L shape where it would hang down. Or I could have some floor ones that lean in at a 45-degree fluorescent ones that would shine in. I could put as soon as you get a vehicle in there. But I've only done a couple projects in here since I built the house, because before I did my Pontiac 1995, learning the 3100 and learning how to do a front wheel drive, I had that in there ever since I built the house, so I didn't do any projects in there, and anything that I did do wasn't very big, and I did it outside. So these out of the way. Get this out. So I haven't perfected any lighting yet. Okay, this time, I'm going to face it forward, take off this wrist pin, spring-loaded clip. Easy. That's the dirty side of that rag. Okay. Front. 30,926. There's the stamp. Smile at it. Clip on. I see. Just like putting the O-rings in, you put half of the spring clip in first, so it's halfway, partially way around. Same as you'd be putting a tire on a rim with some wheel wrenches. And then hold it with your thumb and then bring it in. That works a lot better. So again, front, 3,926. And there's the cam side lettering. I don't know why that number 4 cylinder didn't have that, so that would mean somebody changed a rod on this at some time between 1948 and 20 years ago when they left it sit.
Of course.
They left it sit about 10 or 12, and I left it sit 8, so about 20. Okay.
Of course,
So,
I just had that first rod end cap on backwards. That's all.
Cap back in oil before you tip it over. Okay, that concludes putting those in. The next would be putting the soap on the O-rings and dropping these in and kind of beating them down. Okay, good morning. It's a new day here. new day here, and they're gonna get put in today, and so this the name of my YouTube channel, Never Ending Projects. This one's been going, oh, probably since 6 months after I bought it. I tore it apart, so 7.5 years. So maybe this won't end. I am going to I'm going to put the crank down. The crank's all the way down on 1 and 4, and it's up on 2 and 3. So I'm going to put the sleeve with the piston that's already in it, with the rod sticking out, on 1 and 4 first, since the rod's all the way down. Then do 2 and 3. That's the plan, I guess. Okay, let me put some soap down here on the first O-ring. Now, my piston here.
I probably should have put some soap on the outside also of the sleeve.
Maybe it took too long. Maybe I'll put a little more soap down on that O-ring. But I was oiling up the rod bearings. Okay, so front that way. Yeah, looks like the way it's sitting, the bolts here will straddle the crank. But I got it all the way at the bottom, so it isn't going to be for right now. So what I'm going to do is look from underneath to see if they're going to straddle it exactly. Yeah, they're good. They're like 4 inches above it, so, and I only got to go a couple inches, so I shouldn't be running into anything. But I'll keep monitoring that. So, my hammer handle. Suppose I'll wipe it off. Jeez, going pretty tight. Yes, me. Which I guess is good. Now I'm going to take a look at my clearance down there again. Yeah, they're not going to touch. I'll be able to move the crank when I want to put the bearings on it.
Which I never moved the crank. I pulled the piston down
That one's
over.
on. I suppose I could put that one on first before I do number 4. I'll be working on the bottom, so I don't know if I can lower this down or not. Now instead of bringing the crank up, I suppose I could just push the piston down. But if I had 2 people, then I could have somebody push it down, and then I could sit under there and make sure the bolts don't touch the crank. Some people put a hose over them, I guess. I don't know if I got anything like that. Maybe I'll pause this and see if I could put a couple short little hoses over the bolts so I wouldn't have to worry when I shove it down. Well, somewhere I obviously had some, because I had this hose here on this turkey baster for sucking up stuff, and it fits on the rod bolt, so I don't know what size it's called. This little portion isn't labeled, isn't long enough, but I'm going to slice off a little bit. Just needs a little bit on the ends. Let's try this a little bit. I guess that there would be good. So I'll do another one for the other one, and then go down there and put those on there and come back up. First, this is going to take up room, that, and it could hit, and then I won't be able to use them, and I'll have to go get a camera woman to, she's out looking for morels, so I'll have to wait till she comes back and have her push these down while I line up the rods down below, so make sure they don't hit. Yeah, and with those little hoses on down below, I was able to just grab it from down below and pull it all the way down with my bearing cap that was already on top. So now I just got to put the bottom cap on with the lettering facing that way towards the cam. Again, the cam's on this side where the slotted holes are for the rods. If you're steering the tractor, it's the right side. So got that down there. It says front that way, front that way. It's over the crank. So then I should be able to put those on, torque them, put the cotter keys in, and then go and do the exact same thing on number 4. And then turn the crank and put the other ones to the bottom, 2 and 3, and do the same thing for that. That's the plan. And torque those and put the cotter keys in. I just noticed that there's some writing on the crank right there. It says M10 RSD. I don't know what that means. Does this mean this had a different crank put in it? Well, here's my fish cap. bolted on, and then the other one's going to be back here behind the oil pump. Have to get that piston down and put that cap on. Then I'll bring these other two. I'll bring these other two that are way up there down to the bottom. They're both next to each other. Bring them down to the bottom. This one is easy to put the cotter pins on the torque. This one behind the oil pump, not as easy. Not as easy. These two, this one might have the oil pump in the way a little, but this one should be almost the easiest, same as the front one. That's where I pull my piston that's ready to go, where I take it off, put it on that cloth, and pull off the rod cap so I can shove it down in there. And now I put those two little hoses. I found some cotter keys that I had bought for to hold some pinball machine steppers in, stepper units, where they bolt to the mount when I didn't have the quick fastener pins. So it says these are 3/32 by 1.5. I'm sure they're too long, but I'll just bend them around. The 3/32 fits in the hole. It seems to have a hole every quarter turn. So I gotta go down and find a spot, it's torqued at 40, the first one, so I gotta turn it back or one way or the other to get a cotter pin in each one, then go on to the next one. Okay, let's get some soap on this number 4 O-ring. Good enough. Go get the piston. This lower bearing on number 4 is, I don't know, it's about the worst. There's little bits in there, but if I would have ran this had it not been locked up, so then maybe I can just pull the pan off at a later date and slip some new bearings on it. I just want to get it back running. Spend enough money. Okay, let's get this number 4 stuck in there. These little hoses I put on there. It's all right at the bottom anyway, and this is pretty much to the top, so. Front. Now I gotta check for there's the 3,926, and there's the stamp. So stamp goes on this side. Should say to the front, does. Just get it on it. Say hammer handle again. There it is.
Yeah, I can't believe it's finally going together. I wish I would have spent the $65 and bought new bearing caps. I didn't see that one was that bad. But means
We can't spin. Make sure there's no O-ring caught down there.
means I'll have to.
If I wreck an O-ring, just now project to be a stop. International always has to order stuff. it's just tight. Maybe that soap dried off in just that couple minutes while I was getting the piston ready. So it's down. Now to go under and pull down the piston over the crank and get the nuts and cotter keys in that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to, when I get the bearing caps.
Finally be half done with the installing them.
I get the bearing caps.
Suppose I could look up quick to make sure the O-ring's not doubled out of there.
I'll have to pull the pan again, another pan gasket, undo all those cotter keys, undo the end caps, slide the new bearings, rod bearings in, put all those torque back on, all the cotter keys, bend those back around, put in the oil pan gasket. So I sure wish I would have bought those $65.
I'll look in here. Nope. It stayed where it's supposed to. It's just a tight fit. Okay, let's get some soap on the number 2 O-ring.
It would have been at least 3 or 4 days to wait for those rod bearings. Maybe I should have.
I'm not knocking dirt down there while I do that. I guess not. Cleaned it up pretty good with the wire brush and the vacuum. Okay, let's start getting number 2 lined up here. Front. This side should say 3,000 and have the stamp, yes. All the little hoses in there. Now that. Yeah, they also could have touched my, those bolts could have touched my O-ring. So I just felt them do that, but there's a hose on. I kind of looked in through this hole, I could see I was sitting the caps. So I centered it, now it's, I can start pushing it down. And I got the crank at the bottom again, so. Of course, hammer handle again.
Here's my new valve springs. Right here in a box. I'm not putting them on because I've seen these aftermarket ones break.
So now I'll be pushing the piston down and putting the rod cap on again. Okay, let's oil up number 3 O-ring. Finish this up. Maybe I'll even put a little on this. As any I have left, it's just getting dumped out. Okay. front. Front, number 3. Where's the little hoses?
I bought new valve guides and valves too and didn't use them. Instead, I cleaned up the old ones, the old valves. I probably should have put them in, but
clear the O-ring with the little hoses. Clear the casting.
I can't believe I'm finally getting this done. Tomorrow I might actually get to run it.
Handle, I guess. There's some gentle taps. Oh, work better when you put the soap on the cylinder sleeve on the outside also. Front. Okay, so I gotta go down there and pull that down, take the hoses off, put on the bottom cap, put the bolts on, torque them, put the cotter pins in, then these are all set. Then I can start looking for the head gasket I put somewhere about who knows how many years ago. How many places could a head gasket be? It's got to be in with some car gaskets or something, because it's that long. I'll put my straight edge on the head and on the block, and I'm not putting any sealant on here. Because last time, when I found out, I didn't know anything about the block being cracked, but when I found out some valves were stuck, I wanted to take it right back off, and I just put it on there, ripped it, because I put on some of that, well, I just put something on there, and right away made it rip, so I'm not going to. They didn't do anything probably from the factory, so should just be fine.
And I didn't mean the block was cracked. It was the sleeve. The sleeve had a crack.
So they're all in. So now I gotta put these studs back in. I took out so that I could put my 2x4 there to pull it. Looks like fine on top, coarse on the bottom. Fine on top, coarse on the bottom. Seems to be started straight. Fine on top. Just so in here. Guess there's one missing over there. So hopefully I got 3 more in the bucket. One's gonna have the double nut on it. There's the double nut. And there's 2 more. But they got the nut on top still packed with grease, so I'll just put those in as a regular bolt. there was only one more.
I do end up using both of those. It all came out
There.
right. None were lost.
What the heck? Why do I got an extra one? Let me figure this. From the other side.
There's 9 total. 4 on this side and
I'm glad to be done laying down underneath.
5 on the other side.
Makes sense. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. Two, 3, 4. All I can think of is I must have picked up an extra one because I thought I dropped one outside where I took the head off and pounded on it for 4 hours to loosen it up. I think I wasn't on cement. I think I dropped one, so I must have picked one up while I was at the tractor junkyard getting the head for my M. Well, let me look at the head. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It's all going to work out.
1, 2, 3, 4 on one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the other side. So 4 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 4 and 5. That must have an extra one now. Okay, so I'm gonna find head gasket. Get the head up on me. After I tighten these studs down. Okay, I got my 2 7/8 wrenches. I just want to drop no dirt down. Let's see if the other ones are all the way down. Oh, they are. Okay. Guess we'll go all the way down. Alright, till they get tight. There we go. Good enough. I get to break them apart. No, I might have put a cheater bar in that. Okay, set up the next one here. Get my 7/8. SK wrench. What's this one? GM Performance parts. Who knows where I get these? I know I don't have any from when I was a kid, because once I got my car stuck when I was trying to tow back a car from Des Moines to Wisconsin that had the timing belt broke, timing chain, and I got stuck because they don't really use salt in Iowa, so I gave them both my toolboxes until I paid them, and then I never paid them. Not that I wasn't going to, but it just worked out that way. I guess I just never went back to it, and pretty soon forgot about it. So I don't have any wrenches when I was a kid anymore. This one's not tight now. It's going further than the other one. There we go. Gee, I hope when I put the head on, they're sticking up far enough. Put a nut on it. It's a weird spring with hardly no rain here in May, and up in this section of Wisconsin, kind of 100 miles from Madison, and still about an hour to La Crosse. Up in this area, I think much of Wisconsin might be the same. Maybe, I doubt it's just this area. But now I'm working inside, so it doesn't make any difference. Get these, I don't know why I couldn't just put these in, and when oh, that's right, the other one's got the nut really stuck to the top of them, so they'll screw in like a bolt. I guess these won't. I guess that's why I'm doing it. Except if I could screw them my fingers down to about the threads, wouldn't that have been good enough? And it would just tighten up when I'm tightening the nut up, but I didn't want to take these out, because then they would have been just the way they were. Not that I know anything about why some come out and why some don't, and if you're supposed to put all these in first, I don't know anything about it. So I would have just soon left them alone. Guess got some sockets where they painted them, so color black was 7/8. I guess that's good if you use them every day, and then you memorize the colors. Okay, so I'm going to go look for the head gasket. I guess those last two, since the nuts are stuck on top, will go in from the top like a bolt. I just got to find the head gasket. Well, I found my head gasket. It says I paid says I bought it in 25/7 of 2020 and paid $45.63. Suppose I can check the block in the head, find some 3000s one or something. There's 3. one would even, maybe, I'm satisfied with it. Well, I guess I could bring up to 2. Then I'm stuck finding it. Three. 2. Think that would get one or something. Nope. Nope. No. Alright, it's really straight. I'm going to go out and try the head. Okay, the head surface checked out. So, let's get this head gasket on there. Let's read what it says. Up. I guess that should all I have to read is up. The other side's going to say this side down. It doesn't say front and back. So I'll have to try it in the holes. Looks like just happened to be right over it. First try. Okay, now the head. What's this surface like in here? Kind of rough, but I would have to pull out the it should seal. I'll put some sealant on it. Okay, so I was talking about the thing that would be the water pump. It's just the hose coming off from the radiator that's into the casting. I would have took that to a wire brush and a grinder if I had one. I usually got to clamp my wire brush angle grinder to the bench. Okay, here comes the head. If I get it right. I hate to stand here holding it, trying to figure out which side is which, but this side's the carburetor side. Spark plug holes are over there, so maybe I'll go to the other side. Let's take a look. Flush, flush. Oh, this head ain't been on here in a long time. Yeah, shouldn't be any dirt going there from the spark plug holes. Okay, so now there's 2 bolts. Or the one extra one and the 1 bolt. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, wait a minute. All that I did, and it needs 2 bolts. What the heck? There's no extra one.
Eventually
Now,
take
before we go any farther, I gotta see how the rocker arms get bolted down. They have been over there in probably 6 years sitting on that table, so. Well, this cleaner one.
That's what I was gonna say.
should bring into
I
the
change them around.
That's something like that. Okay, before I put any of these through, I'm gonna go get my rocker arms out. Get the rockers out and the rods. I think I remember bending the rod trying to adjust these before, or else it was where the valve was stuck. So I'm gonna do some investigating before I torque the head down. Well, I still haven't got the head button down yet, but I did go down and put the oil pan on, and put the screen back on the oil pump, and might drop these rods in here. I guess they go with the big part up, little part down. Let me go line up the big part up on the rocker arm. Oh, heck, I really don't know which way they go, so I guess I gotta go look. Okay, I see these got these big ball-like thing here that's gonna fit into the rod, so they go with the big end up. These flat things here go on top of the springs. The valves. Now, how does this thing go on? I don't know. Well, there's these two big. There's these two big bolts here coming up. Let's drop it on there. See what that does. But I gotta take it right back off because I haven't torqued the head down yet. I'm just making sure that these don't have anything to do with head bolts. I don't want to do any twice. No, they don't. They're on 3 bolts sticking up too long, 1 short. That is definitely just for hooking up the
Rocker arm.
this. So this one and the 2 long ones. So then I can go ahead and torque the head bolts, then put this on. Okay, I gotta go get together a torque wrench and look at the torque setting. I put the rods on the bottom of the pistons, connecting rods at 40. I imagine these are going to be 60. My best guess.
Nope.
I've been looking at it before a while back.
Nope, 65.
I got all the nuts on this side. I still got to find 1, 2, 3, 4 nuts. There's only really 1 there. And I went and found one when I was vacuuming way down in here by the radiator, way down below the generator. Almost got sucked up, so I imagine I'm not going to have them all. And I keep thinking I dropped something when I was outside, so maybe it was one of these nuts. 2, 3. How many I need? 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh.
I eventually find it.
1 short.
It was actually in that pail.
I guess I'm going to run up to O'Reilly's and see if they might have one that would fit. Alright, be back in an hour or 2. Hey, just got cleaned up and taking a break. Took down a couple bottles of water. Here's the carburetor that I guess I bought for it, and I completely forgot about it. I went on eBay to try to find another carburetor, and it says, you already bought this one. So I dug through my parts that I haven't installed, and there it was. So I got the carb. Says it's at number 35237 6R92. So I can quit worrying about that. I got the
Rocker arm.
valve cover found. Cleaned it up yet. And I got a new pipe. And I got a new exhaust manifold. So that carburetor fits on here. The pipe fits on the top. The 2 gaskets that I got. It's not 1 gasket, I know that. So later when I get this head torqued, maybe even tomorrow, I'll have all these smaller parts to put on. Maybe I can see if it'll run. So I got to give my garden plants that I'm going to put in after I use this tractor to mark the rows with the cultivator, so I can use it to cultivate later. And when I do that, I know I got a disc first from, we haven't got any rain for like a month, or it seems like that, but sometime or another there was 2 inches, and that made it like concrete, so if I was to try to cultivate it like that, it would leave these big, huge lumps. So I'll have to disc it first, and then I can mark the rows with this cultivator, which would show up better if I would go crossways with something, but it's too narrow a garden. So I'm going to take another break and water that stuff, and then I'll see if I come back later, otherwise it'll be in the morning. Bill's never-ending project that might end. See, okay, I'm going to start torquing these to 65.
You can see it's a little darker. I came back out.
I'm going to get the slack out of them with this. guess since I do this manual torque wrench, I gotta use a flashlight to read the torque. I'm gonna go to 65, so I guess I'll go up to some mediocre amount. How about 20? 20 there. There. 20. So there. How about over here? And how about here? There's 20, and I guess I did that one. So. I'm sure I did that. No, didn't do that. I know I did that outside one. I know I did that one, but it's not on 20 anymore. Well, maybe I did. Jesus, the middle one even is still on 20, but let me get that last one first. Okay, they should all be on 20. Then I'm going to do the same thing on 40 and 60. Then we'll be back for the next application.
I mean 65.
I'm just finishing the last one for 40. Yep. Now for 65. Higher to pull it. I'd say 65. So there. Anyway, to go through the rest of them and then start putting the rocker arms on. I guess I'll put some oil on these rods first, but I have to get the rest of them to 65. Okay, I'm going to dip the rods in some oil.
Just think, I'm almost down to just the exhaust manifold, the carburetor.
Okay, that's 4. So move the flashlight.
Setting the valves, and changing the governor rod, or else changing the whole governor that I bought a used one from a tractor salvage yard. because when I bought the tractor, it came with a broken off governor rod, unfortunately. And the reason I had to buy a carburetor is because I couldn't get the screws loose and I wrecked it.
It's nice having the pan on. I don't got to go back under the tractor unless I'm going to look at that timing mark. So I guess I can slop a little on top. Slop a little on the valve itself. Okay, I gotta wipe up my hands. Hopefully I don't tip that over. Maybe I can just use my regular leather gloves. Oh yeah, this cap on this oil. If you leave the cap off, it'll for sure get tipped over. Okay, so comes the rocker arm. One thing I could mention, I just seen it from over here. That little short bolt here that's going to hold the rocker arm. The other two are the big tall ones, of course. That little one, there, where is it? There it is. Right there is a hole. And then when we put the rocker arms on, we'll see what it oils. Would be for this middle one. I guess it could be for that hole inside there, where it would then go into up to the shaft on the rocker arms. My best guess. So obviously then these adjustments with the screws all go over there on top of the rods. And that, oh, this thing turned. This one turned. Now what's that one doing? I guess that one should. Let me go around over here, and I got a rod holding one up. Oh, not going straight down. Well, if that rod's going to keep bothering me, I'll just take it out. Let's see. If I take it out, then I can't get it back in. There, it's starting to go down. Good. I just want to clear this rod, so watch out for it.